going inside the house. Moving quickly, she picked up the old enamel bucket that held kitchen scraps and carried it out to the compost heap next to the garden, where she emptied it. She then took it to the pump and filled it with clean water for the lilacs. She set them in the shade and sat down on the porch steps, wondering what to do for the duration. She could walk down the drive to the mailbox, hoping Papa's tantrum would be over by the time she returned, or she could stay here on the stoop and, well, not exactly eavesdrop, because that would be wrong, like opening someone's mail, but perhaps a phrase or two would come to her, and she could figure out what all the fuss was about.
Damned scoundrel! A communist! Filthy New Dealer!
So it was about Thomas O'Rourke, the young man her sister Harriet had been seeing. Julia had suspected as much. He was a labor organizer and a big supporter of Mr. Roosevelt's New Deal. Papa, a Maine Republican, had no doubt that Mr. Roosevelt's policies would ruin the country. "I love him, Papa, and you're not going to stop me." Julia's eyebrows shot up in amazement. Harriet was daring to argue with Papa.
"Don't you dare talk to me like that, young lady,"
was Papa's predictable response.
"I'm not young, Papa. Don't you see? I'm 30 years old. I've always done what you said, and what has it gotten me? I'm an old maid, too good for anyone in this town, that's for sure."
Julia considered this. It was true, she realized, with a jolt. None of the farmers and small tradesmen who lived in Tinker's Cove would want a college-educated wife like Harriet, or herself, for that matter.
"Is that what you want? To marry some man and become his laundress, his cook, his concubine?"
Papa practically spat out the words. On the stoop, Julia hugged herself. She could see Papa's expression as clearly as if she were the object of his wrath. The bristly eyebrows, the narrow nose and hollow cheeks, the frowning mouth. How could Harriet bear to confront him? How could she stand his disapproval?
"Yes, Papa," replied Harriet coolly. "That's exactly what I want, more than anything. I want to feel Thomas's arms around me, his lips pressed against mine. I want to give myself to him. I want to bear his children."
Julia's jaw dropped, and apparently so did Papa's. There was silence, a long silence. Julia sat very still, watching the swallows swooping flight above the neat rows of baby lettuce in the vegetable garden. When Papa finally spoke, his voice was as cold and hard as ice.
"Understand this. If you marry Thomas O'Rourke, you are no daughter of mine, and you will have nothing that is mine. Marry him, and you will become dead to me."
Julia's lips twitched, hearing the awful words. Rachel reached out to gently shake Julia awake, but hesitated. Miss Tilley was almost 90 years old, and, like a lot of very old people, didn't sleep well at night. It seemed a shame to disturb her, even if lunch was ready. She had made up her mind to turn down the pot when Miss Tilley's eyes sprang open.
"Ah, you're awake,"
said Rachel.
"Are you ready for lunch? It's your favorite, shrimp wiggle on toast."
Julia Ward Howe Tilley blinked and looked around. She'd been dozing, she realized. Papa was long gone, and dear Mama, and Harriet was dead too. Julia stroked her arthritic fingers and furrowed her brow. She was the only survivor, the last remaining member of her family. Or was she? What if Harriet had given Thomas O'Rourke a child? Her heart beat a little faster at the thought.